Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our lunchtime yoga session. Today we're going to be doing a lot of focus on the hips. So for this session, we have a few props that we're going to make use of. If you have time, go and grab some of those now. The first being some hardcover books. So let's just get some of these. You might want to use them for some of the postures, just for some support and assistance. These will replace typically a yoga block. Make sure that you've got a towel to use. So I'm just taking a regular towel and rolling it up to form a bolster. Hi guys! Nice seeing everyone log on. Today we're going to be doing a lot of hip opening work. Very important for runners and cyclists. For everyone really. And the yogis say that when we have our hips nice and open, we also a lot calmer and we have released a lot of tension and stress and trauma we might have been storing in this area. So just going through the props, a cushion as well for your knee. If your knees get sensitive on the mat, we will be doing some postures today where you will have the knee pressed down onto the mat. So I recommend just getting a little cushion, or you can use a towel as well, just to offer those knees some extra protection. If you do not have a yoga mat, just make sure you're using a towel on a carpeted surface so you still have some protection for the body. We will also be doing some work on the floor towards the end of the class, lying down on the mat. And so basically for this class, we're going to start with our 3 rounds of sun salutation A, just for a bit of warm up. If you have practiced with me before, you know I like to do a little bit of a warm up, just to get the body flowing and open and just a little bit more mobile. Then we're going to move into a few postures, which we're going to do seated on the mat. And then from those seated postures, we're doing a standing sequence, all working on our hips. All the focus of today's class will be on opening the hip area. And then we're going to move back down onto the floor and then down onto our backs. So nothing too complicated. If there are any postures that require different variations, I will talk through those so that you know how you can create a deeper stretch or how you can just calm down and take it back a notch. But all of the postures are friendly for all levels. So hi everyone, thank you for joining. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Amy, and today's class is all about hip opening. So we're going to begin just by standing at the top of our mat. So beginning with our warm-up now for our rounds of sun salutation A. Also, I always have water with me. Not that we encourage drinking a lot of water during class, because you want to try and practice on an empty stomach, but you're most welcome to take a sip of water whenever you like. So let's just begin standing at the top of our mats, or towards the top of the mat, feet together, thighs nice and strong and engaged, so you can see how we lift the kneecaps to engage the thighs. We begin with our hands pressed together, thumbs pressing in towards our chest, looking straight ahead. Let's just stand here for a few moments, just finding that breath. So it's very important to remember throughout the yoga practice to focus on your breathing. The practice is a moving meditation or a healing exercise, but the most important thing about yoga is to focus on the breath and use the breath to help you move through the postures. So we're going to begin with a big inhale as we lift our hands up towards the ceiling. And as we exhale, we're going to forward fold. So hinging from the hips, reaching the hands towards the mat. Now I've been spending some time on my indoor trainer the last few days, so I'm feeling pretty tight. It doesn't matter if your hands can't reach the mat. You can just bend your knees here slightly if that feels more comfortable. And just allow the body to show you where it's willing to go today. So we're not forcing anything, we're just trying to restore the body and beginning to open up different parts of the body. So we're just hanging out here in our forward fold for a few moments, so bending one knee at a time. This also helps to just ease the hamstrings. You can look towards your thighs or your knees. And on your next inhale, let's come up for our halfway lift. So we straighten that spine, hands on the shins, or if you're very flexible, fingers towards the mat. So the spine is nice and straight like a tabletop. And as we exhale, we go into our chaturanga. So placing the hands on the mat, step one foot back and then the other. Now you have an option to go down onto your knees here. So if you'd like to go down onto your knees and do all the chaturangas on your knees, you're welcome to do so. Otherwise, we stay here in our high plank position and we just lower down, keeping the elbows in at the waist. And as we inhale, we come up for upward facing dog. Watch how I roll my toes over. Open the chest and throat up towards the ceiling. You can feel the glutes engage. Nice little squeeze, knees and thighs off the floor. And as we exhale, we round over the feet again for our downward facing dog. Working towards getting the ankles closer to the floor, but it's fine if your ankles don't touch the floor. And then as we inhale, we step forward 1 foot at a time, come up into that halfway lift position, straight spines. As we exhale, we forward fold. Again, you're welcome to bend the knees here as much as you'd like. And as we inhale, we come all the way up for a high mountain. Exhale, hands to heart center. So we're going to do 2 more rounds of that, just as we warm the body up, getting ourselves ready for the rest of practice. So we're going to move a little bit faster this time on the breath. So inhale, hands up to the ceiling, high mountain. Exhale, forward fold, hinging from the hips. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, step to the front, come up halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Bending the knees again, if you like. Inhale, come up high mountain. Exhale, Tadasana. Let's do 1 more round together. Inhale, hands up towards the ceiling. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, hands on the shins, straight spines. Exhale, chaturanga, plant the hands, step back. Knees optional if you'd like. Keep the elbows tucked in. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, step to the front of the mat, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, high mountain. Exhale, hands to heart center for Tadasana. Well done, everyone. That's our warm-up complete. We're now going to come down to the mat. Just see. Hi, everyone. Nice to have you joining us. Hey, Sheens. So now we're going to begin with our seated sequence. So again, our focus is on the hips. So as we move through these different postures, just allow the body to surrender into the posture. There certainly may be some discomfort, especially if your hips are tight from doing all the other kind of training that Steve's got going on. So just be mindful of how your hips and body are feeling and show yourself some kindness, because at the end of the day, we're working with a constant journey. It's always a journey of, balancing our competitive and strengthening and cardio workouts with our restorative workouts, our healing exercise. So we're going to begin. Our first posture is a bound angle pose or butterfly pose. So bring the soles of your feet to touch and just wrap your hands around the toes in front. And then if you'd like to, you can just edge your hips closer to your ankles. So just some micro movements. Just to begin, let's do a couple of butterfly wing flaps. So we're just loosening up our hips before we hold the posture for a little bit longer. So like we did on Thursday last week, some of the poses we're going to be holding for quite a while. This just allows the body to really open up. So after a few little butterfly flaps with the knees, begin to find stillness in your bound angle pose. And then very gently, we're going to bring the elbows down as we reach forward. So the aim here is that we're trying to reach our forehead towards the toes. So just gently begin to stretch forward. Or if you'd like to, you can extend the hands out in front of you or reach your chest towards the floor. So I like to hold onto my toes because I find that this just keeps everything connected. And as you reach forward, you should feel a deepening of that stretch in the hips and the groin area. Remember to breathe. So in yoga, we breathe in and out through the nose. While you're holding onto your toes and opening up the hips and groin, try and focus on the breath and creating those equal length inhales and exhales. So what helps is if we inhale to a count of 4 and we exhale for a count of 4. So just focusing on this helps to create the rhythm of a slightly deeper breath, and at the same time gives us a little bit of distraction from the discomfort we may be experiencing. And each time you exhale, see if you can bring your chest a little bit closer towards the mat. So we're holding onto the feet to help create that traction. See if you can just bring the chest a little bit further down. So take your nice deep inhale, and as you exhale, pull on the toes and pull your chest closer towards the feet. You can also opt to place the elbows onto the calf muscle and press the elbows into the legs to just create a little bit of a widening. So using the elbows to increase that stretch a little bit more. We're here just for 2 more breaths. So see if you can bring your chest even closer to the mat. And as you exhale, just release. Take a nice deep inhale as you come up. And let's begin to release our legs. So we're going to move now into a fire log position. So unlike a cross-legged position, your legs are going to be stacked directly on top of one another. So shin on top of shin, creating a straight line in front of you. So here, if you would like to take hold of your rolled up towel that I'm using as a bolster prop today, you're welcome to do so. If your hips are tight, you will see that one of your knees will lift up. If your hips are quite open, the legs should stack directly on top of one another. So my hips are quite tight, so I know, so first of all, let's just set up correctly. So let's start with the left leg at the bottom. So the left shin is parallel to the top of the mat. Then we're going to bring that right shin and place it directly on top. So now you can see my knee is lifting a little bit up above the left foot that's at the bottom. So this is where you can just place that towel just as a little bit of a prop, just to support the posture. And then we're going to sit upright, nice tall straight spines. You can allow the hands to just rest open in the lap or bring them together in the front. And we're going to close our eyes here as we just allow the body to soften into the posture. So this is a really restorative posture, but it can feel uncomfortable for the hips. So that's why I like to use my towel here, as it's a nice soft sort of cushioning. So as we're sitting here, just also imagine that you have a long thread pulling you up through the crown of the head, so the spine is nice and straight and tall. So let's focus on our breathing. I'm going to help count us into the breathing. So we're going to do the inhales to a count of 4 and exhales to a count of 4 as well. So let's begin by inhaling 1, 2, 3, 4, and exhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, and exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, and exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, and exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's do 3 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, and exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, and exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, and exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now, if you have been using a towel or bolster, just gently begin to remove that now. As you inhale, just lift that top shin up towards the chest, and let's just rotate that leg left to right just a few times. And as you exhale, gently release that right leg down to the mat. Now, as always, what we do on one side, we must do on the other. So we inhale as we lift the left shin now, placing it directly on top of that right shin. So the shins are completely parallel, stacked right on top of each other, so this is not a cross-legged position. As you can see here, my left knee is also lifting up off the ankle because my hips are tight. So using the towel on one side, and I can definitely feel I'm a bit tighter on this side than the other, so my knee's lifting up a little higher. So just take note of that as well. So perhaps one side of your body feels different to the other. Just be kind and allow the body to just move where it feels okay. So you should never experience any kind of searing pain in yoga. Some discomfort is common as we work to open up those tight areas like we're doing today with our hips. So once you've set up into your posture, remember that we're sitting up nice and tall and straight. You can let the hands just rest into the lap. And you can begin to close your eyes as we focus again on our breath. So I'll count us through the breathing again. Let's inhale for count of 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's do 3 more here. So inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now you can begin to remove the towel or bolster if you are using one. Just set that aside. As you inhale again, let's lift that left leg up, lifting the shin up, and just gently rotate from left to right. Just some small movements here. And as you exhale again, releasing that left leg down to the mat. Now we're going to move into our cow face pose today, and we're not going to work with the arms, so we're just going to focus on the legs. So let's begin with our left leg on the bottom. Now we've done this pose before in some of the previous classes, so also really good for hip opening. So we point the left knee towards the front of the mat. So the knees forming a triangle coming from the front back towards the hips and the left foot. So now we sit up, swing that right leg around so that the knees are directly stacked on one another. Now begin to sit down onto the mat. Now for some of you this might feel a little bit too tight, so this is why we have our blocks. If you'd like to, our books that we are using, or a block if you have a yoga block at home, we just begin to sit onto the books or the block, whatever prop you have. And this helps to just release some of the tightness that might be in the hips. Obviously, if you'd like a deeper stretch and you feel that you can sit and remain seated in this posture without the books or the block, you're welcome to do so. We are going to be here for a while, so just make sure that you can stay in the posture. As you can see, my cat is practicing with us today on the mat. So you can just allow the hands to rest open on top of that right knee. And just take note that your feet should both be pointing out towards the side. So my left foot is pointing out to the right, my right foot pointing out to the left. Just to show full screen on so you can see. Let me just adjust my seating slightly, there we go. So you can see my knees are directly stacked one on top of each other. I'm sitting down onto the mat, my feet are pointing out into the opposite direction. Now we're not focusing on the arms today, we're just doing the hips. And we're here for just 5 more breaths. I know that this posture can be quite challenging. I can certainly feel the tightness around my hips as we're sitting here. Let's just take our last 3 breaths together. Nice deep inhale. Gentle exhale. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4, exhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4, exhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's do one more. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4, and exhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's begin to release that by using our hands to press ourselves up. So as if you're coming into the tabletop position, and you can just release the legs a little bit to the side. So now what we do on one side, we obviously always do on the other. So now we begin to set up with the right knee on the bottom. So we're creating that triangle shape again with the right knee this time on the bottom. Last time we started with the left, or whichever leg you started with, just make sure you do the opposite now. So I use my hands to help me sit up into the posture, and then swing that left leg on top and then sit down. So this helps me to get into the posture a little bit deeper, a little bit more easily. As you can see, feet are out towards the sides again. If you're feeling that it's really tight sitting down on the mat, don't forget to make use of your books or a block if you have. So I'm going to just sit on one of the books now. I'm definitely feeling a little bit tighter today on one side compared to the other. So when you're ready, you can just allow the hands to rest in the lap or on top of that left thigh. Hey Lily. My cat loves my yoga mat. And we can just gently again begin to close the eyes if you'd like to. I know that this feels uncomfortable. It is quite a deep stretch for the hips. Perhaps you'll be sitting on a lot of books. So just work with whatever your body is allowing you to do today. But you do want to create that stacking of the knees in front. So one directly on top of the other, and feel that they're pressing against each other, that the thighs are connecting. So sitting up really helps that. So even if you want to test this, press your hands into the mat and lift your hips up. You can feel that the thighs come closer together. So if this feels more comfortable for you, then you definitely need to place some blocks beneath you. So we're going to settle in just for a few more breaths in this posture. I'll count us through the breaths together again. So let's inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale 4, 3, 2, 1. So now we can just release to come out of the posture. I'm pressing my hands on the mat, just walking forward, and then releasing the legs. Taking a moment to just sit back down onto the ankles. Oh, quite a deep stretch for the hips. So from where you are, let's roll over so that we are in our child's pose. So we're going to widen the knees out towards the edge of the mat. Our toes are touching at the back, as you can see here, sitting down onto the toes first. Then from here, we can begin to move forward, so coming down onto the forearms first. And then if you'd like to go into the full extension, reaching your hands forward and placing your forehead on the mat. So just allow the belly to be nice and soft so you can really feel the belly expand between the thighs as you inhale. And if you'd like to widen the thighs a little bit more, you're welcome to do so. So you can take the knees out beyond the edges of the mat if that feels comfortable. It might also help you to create more of that connection between the hips and the ankles. I know for some of us, we're not able to keep the connection of the hips to the heels as we stretch forward. It doesn't matter. What matters is that we're reaching forward and we're reaching back at the same time. So this helps to elongate the spine. And just press the forehead down onto the mat. When you're ready, you can begin to walk the hands back towards your lap and bring the knees slightly closer together as we lift up into our tabletop position on the next inhale. From here, we're going to curl the toes so that we can lift the knees up off the mat. And as we exhale, we move into our downward facing dog. From here, as you inhale, I'd like you to bring the right, actually I will start by bringing the left foot forward. So place that left foot between the hands in front, so you're almost in like a high lunge position. Now from here, we're going to come up into our warrior two pose. So for those of you who are new to yoga or unfamiliar with some of the postures, I'll just talk through it quite carefully. In any case, we're going to be holding the posture for a while. So this is not a fast flowing yoga class, this is a deep stretching class. So as we come up, watch how my back foot has now turned out towards the side. So basically that's my right foot pointing out towards the right now. So the foot is parallel to the mat at the back. Now my left foot is facing forward. So the heel of the left foot should immediately dissect the back of that right foot. So you're creating this line that dissects the middle of the back foot. So just check your positioning. Now as we come up, that front leg is nice and bent, 90 degrees. So we're creating that parallel thigh to the mat, nice and strong. So you can imagine if someone was to come and sit on that thigh, you'd be able to support them. As we open up, now watch how my hips are actually opening up to the right side. So this is something that's quite a balance to work out, is that we want to keep that front knee facing forward and at the same time we're opening our hips up to that right side. So constantly imagine that we're rolling the pelvis open to the right, and then we extend the arms out either side. So arms are also parallel to the mat, strong arms, relax the shoulders down away from the ears and look towards that left hand which is in front. Now if you can sink a little bit deeper into that bent leg, you obviously want to keep it parallel, but just also make sure that your knee is directly above your ankle. So you see we're staying in this warrior two posture for quite a while, and it actually starts burning quite a lot. Remember to keep rolling the hips open to the right, and at the same time we keep that front or left leg pointing to the front. The back leg is obviously straight. You can see my thighs engaged. So really working the muscles here. It's a very strong posture. We're just holding here for 2 more breaths. So you should really feel the burn now in that front thigh. And we're going to move from this posture into triangle. So gently begin to straighten that front leg. So now you can see the front leg is straight and so is the back. Keep the thighs nice and engaged. So hands are still out in either direction, parallel to the mat. Now begin to reach all the way forward. Reach, reach, reach until you can't reach anymore. Then from here, begin to drop the left hand down. So what I find helps with getting the right hand in the right place above the left hand is to open like a bow and arrow. So you can go from here and just lift up, or you can drop that hand, let the hands meet, and then open like a bow and arrow so you feel the chest opening as well. So my right hand is up towards the ceiling, and you can look up towards that right thumb. The left hand is down towards the mat. The arms are stacked one on top of the other. So you can feel quite a nice stretch here in the front leg, working up towards the hips obviously as well. Now if you'd like to lift up slightly, you can, so you're not collapsing down to the side. You still must be able to breathe clearly. So lift up a little bit. And we're also here for 5 more breaths. So just allow yourself some time to make any micro adjustments. Settle into that posture. Gazing up towards that top hand if that feels comfortable. And on your next exhale now, we're going to gently begin to bend that front knee as we move back into that warrior two position. So just allow the arms to come back to parallel to the mat. So here, just for 2 more breaths, back into our warrior two. Again, just working on opening that pelvis up to the side. And on your next exhale, sweep the hands down to the mat. Roll that back foot, so you're now in that lunge position. And sweep that foot back so you're in your high plank. Come down onto your knees. Let's sit back onto our ankles for 1 round of breath. If you'd like to take a sip of water now, you're welcome to do so. And when you're ready, what we do on one side, we must do on the other. So come back into your tabletop position first. Curl the toes so you can lift the knees. Exhale, downward facing dog. From here, we're going to step the opposite foot forward. So now, this is my right foot forward. Focus on the placement of the feet again. So make any adjustments if you need to do so. That front thigh is parallel to the mat, nice and strong. Back leg straight and strong. The back foot is pointed out to the left side. Front foot facing forward. The front ankle dissects the foot at the back. We lift the arms up. Warrior two, arms strong. Allow the shoulders to just shrug down away from the ears. Look towards the front hand. Now remember that motion that we were thinking of on the other side. We work on this side too. So that's gently opening the hips to the left. So as much as we're keeping our front leg straight out in front of us, we're also opening the body up to the side. So constantly try and roll the hips open, tuck the pelvis in. So you can see we're squeezing the glutes here, we're tilting the pelvis inwards, we're rolling the hips open. You want to go out, Lily? We're holding here just for a couple more breaths. So really use these last moments to really try and get the hips to open up to the left side. Make sure that that front thigh is as parallel to the mat as possible. So it is quite a wide stance. Now from here, we're gently going to straighten that front leg. So very slowly begin to straighten that front leg. Then reach all the way forward with the right hand until you can't reach anymore. From here, drop the right hand down. If you like the bow and arrow move, use that to allow the left hand to come all the way up to the top. And then look up towards that top thumb. I'm just going to adjust my posture so I can show a full front view. So you can see how my arms are stacked directly one on top of the other. My chest is nice and open to the side. Can feel quite a deep stretch in that front leg. We're not collapsing down to the bottom, or we are lifting up slightly. So always make sure that we have enough space to breathe. So it doesn't matter if your fingertips don't touch the mat. So we're here just for a couple more breaths, and then we're going to move back briefly into our warrior two. Very slowly begin to bend that front leg, and then we come up for our warrior two. Just need to adjust them, I'm a bit close to my wall. There we go, on the side. So again, you can see my frontal view here, so arms parallel to the mat. We're working at getting that front thigh as parallel to the mat as possible. Foot facing forward, hips open to the side, arms parallel, looking towards the front hand, tilting that pelvis inwards, opening the hips in the front. You can feel the glutes squeeze. And from here, we're just going to windmill the arms down to the mat. So we're in that high lunge. Sweep the foot back so you're in your high plank. Drop the knees down to the mat. And you can sit down on your ankles, just taking a breath to reset the posture. Reset yourself. Take a sip of water if you'd like to. I'm just moving my mat slightly so for the demonstration of the rest of our postures for class today. So we're now going to move into our wide angle forward bend. So coming up onto your tabletop, again, curl the toes, lift the knees, extend back for your downward facing dog. Step your left foot forward or right foot, whatever allows you to see the screen. And we're going to open up into our wide legged forward fold. So now you can just really work with opening your legs up as wide as feels comfortable. So you can see my hands are pressed down onto the mat. So what we're doing here is we're just going to walk the hands backwards until you found your point of tension. So just work with what your body's allowing you here, and just focus on bringing the crown of the head towards the mat. So this just allows us to feel quite a deep stretch all the way up our legs. Now point the toes slightly inwards So you also feel the stretch now on the outside of the legs. So you're pointing the big toes inwards. This definitely feels more uncomfortable, or it's definitely stretching all the right things that need it for me. Just 2 more breaths here. Hey, Lily. And then begin to walk your hands back out in front of you. You can come up onto your fingertips if that feels nice, so your spine is straight in a halfway lift-like gesture. Now from here, we're going to gently heel toe the feet closer together until you're probably about 1 meter apart, or it depends on how tall your legs are. And then from here, we're going to come down into our yoga squat. So you can just take a few moments to adjust that. Bringing the elbows on the inside of the thighs, or just pressing those knees open to the sides. So now we're not collapsing down into the posture, we're sitting up. This is definitely more active. If you just sit down, it feels it's a little bit more lazy on the body, so we lift those hips up. Pressing those knees out nice and open, so we feel that deep stretch for the hips and the groin. One of my other cats wants to come in, so I just opened just now for them. Just here for 2 more breaths. And as we exhale, begin to release the hands down to the mat. You can lift the hips back up and just walk the feet slightly closer together so that you're in your forward fold. Then when you're ready, let's come back down to our tabletop position. We're going to just move into pigeon for about 10 breaths on each side. So from our tabletop, you can now bring the right knee towards the right wrist. Bring the foot out towards the left wrist, so you can see the set up here. Now if you'd like to place a support in the form of a towel or some books underneath the thigh, you're welcome to do so. Just dealing with my wall behind me. And then when you're ready, forward fold, down onto the forearms first, and then if you'd like to extend the arms out in front of you, you're welcome to do so. So just bring your attention back to the breath. Stay in this posture. I know it can also feel uncomfortable. Just working with the stretch now for the thigh, that whole hip area on the right side. On your next inhale, let's come up, walk the hands back to the lap. Now, pressing the hands into the mat, curl the back toes so you can lift that back leg. Press up into that high plank position and bring the foot back to meet the opposite one. Now we're going to move to the opposite side. I'm just turning around so I can demonstrate a little bit better. So now we're bringing the left knee to the left wrist, and we're bringing that ankle to the front. So the aim is to try and get that shin as close to parallel to the top of the mat as possible. We're more likely to have like a number 7 shape. Not many of us are able to get our shin parallel to the mat. That doesn't matter. but we aim to do that. Now we work that back foot behind us, and as we sit up straight, we can place a prop underneath the thigh if you'd like to, and then begin to come down onto the forearms, and then rest the whole forehead down onto the mat if you'd like to do so. Focus on your breathing to ease the discomfort. Let's just do 3 more breaths here. We're nearly done. On your next inhale, let's come up, walk the hands back slightly towards the lap. Curl the back toes, you can lift that back knee, press up into your high plank and sweep that foot back. Bring the knees down to the mat and just sit back down onto the ankles. We're now going to move down onto our backs, so just roll over, scooch down, make sure that you have enough space. We're going to begin in our happy baby position. So feet up towards the ceiling, grab the outsides of the feet and let the elbows come to the insides of the knees. So I'll just do a different facing posture so you can see the elbows and the arms. So the knees are out to the sides, the elbows are on the inside, and the feet are facing up towards the ceiling. Use your hands to guide the feet down. What this will do is guide the thighs down, and you'll feel more of an opening in the hips and the groin area. Just enjoy taking a few breaths here. Let the body just relax fully into the posture. And when you're ready, you can bring the soles of the feet to touch now. Allow the legs to come back down onto the mat. So we're in that reclined bound angle pose. So as if we were in our butterfly pose seated, we're now doing that lying down. So the knees are open out to the sides. The soles of the feet are touching. And we're just going to take the last few moments of our class resting in this reclined bound angle pose. So if you'd like to, you can place your right hand over your belly, left hand over your heart. Close the eyes and just concentrate on the breath. You're welcome to stay here for another minute at least, maybe 3 or even 5 minutes, just feeling the opening of the hips and the pelvis, just softening the body into the mat. If you would like to already begin to move out of the posture, just close the knees like a book, bring the knees into the chest, wrap your arms around your shins for a moment, bringing the forehead to meet the knees. Giving yourself a lovely hug and squeeze. And then from here, just roll gently up into your seated position. Taking one last big deep inhale together. And exhale, open mouth, sigh. Letting everything go. Thank you everyone for practicing with me today at lunchtime. And I will see you on Thursday. I hope you have a beautiful day and that your hips are feeling nice and open and that we work through some of those tight spots that we often get from all the other sport and activity that we do. So have a beautiful day further. Thank you so much.